Hello, my lovelies, and welcome back to the Witchery podcast. So we are back today with episode 12, and this is for the woman who has forgotten that she is the magical one. So in this episode, we're going to be looking at practical witchcraft and spells for everyday life. So over the last 11 episodes, we've gone quite deep. We've looked at the witch wound from so many different angles, and hopefully that you've started to understand yourself a little bit more. You know, maybe you have recognized some of those patterns in yourself, or maybe you've started to question some of the beliefs that you've been carrying around for years that perhaps no longer serve you. But today I thought we'd have a bit more fun, because one of the things that I hear all the time is that people would love to be more witchy, but they don't know where to start, or they don't have enough time, or they don't know enough about witchcraft, or they don't have all the fancy equipment needed to create magical spells. But truly and honestly, you don't need any of that. And I think social media has made witchcraft look more complicated than it actually is. Like, you need shelves full of herbs and an altar that belongs in a magazine, and, you know, loads of different crystals that are all dedicated to a different job, and, you know, knowing in and out all the different moon phases and exactly how you're supposed to, how you should use them. And I must admit, I think that I probably add to that a little bit, because a lot of the stuff that I will post online from my spell work is actually spells that I complete for my clients. And so it is, of course, my job. It's one that I love, and it doesn't feel like a job, but it is my job. So I have those hours there during the day to create these elaborate and gorgeous spells for my clients. But if I'm honest, while sometimes I do the bigger spells for myself, 99% of my spell work is simply everyday practical magic, because no one has time to spend hours creating spells for themselves. And you don't need loads of fancy equipment, because you are the magical conduit. You are the one that holds all of the magic. Within magic, everything is intention. And the only way to infuse everything with intention is through you. The thing that makes these magical tools work is because you put that belief, you put that intention into them. It's a little bit like when I teach card reading, or any form of divination actually, that involves a tool of some kind, whether that is cards or pendulum or dowsing rods or anything at all. A lot of people feel as though they are getting the information from the tools. And of course, they are assisting you. But actually, you don't even need those tools for divination. It's just that our human likes to have something that feels more tangible. So if, for instance, you are receiving information, let's say you're holding dowsing rods, and you're asking yes or no questions. If you ask yes or no questions and the rods cross over, your human feels more satisfied with that answer, because it's a physical, it's a tangible thing that you can believe more easily, rather than a quiet yes or no inner knowing that just feels like a thought. So I think we always, in any form of witchcraft, in any form of divination, we always place more emphasis on the tools than really needs it. And some of the most magical women that I know never, ever, ever do elaborate spell work. It's simply with intention, because, as I say, that is the most important part, you know. And going back to old style witchcraft, it all stems from working with the seasons around what plants were growing at that particular times, when they blessed their homes, when they thanked the land, when they stirred love into the food that they were preparing for their family. Magic wasn't like another thing to do on a to-do list, and it also wasn't separate from their everyday life, because that is the part that most of the women who come to me, and I have done it myself, they live almost two separate lives. So they have their gorgeous spiritual side, which they love dipping into. You know, they'll do the meditations, they'll work with the moon, they'll do journaling, all the things, but then won't integrate it into the everyday life. Whereas the magic is truly in the blending of the two. When you can bring the everyday into alignment with your magic, that is where the best bits lay. And today, I thought that I would share 13 really simple things that I genuinely love doing. And none of them take loads of time, none of them cost a fortune, and none of them require you to know absolutely everything before you begin. Because if there is one thing that I hope you take away from today's episode, it's that you don't have to wait till the next full moon. You don't have to wait until you've bought another crystal that someone else has told you works wonderfully for what it is that you want. And you don't need to wait until you're a proper witch. Because what the hell is a proper witch? And I have heard that terminology quite a lot. Like, people will say to me, yeah, but you're a proper witch. So are you. You know? Declare yourself a witch. If you love magic and all things magical, you may love a witch, and you are more than entitled to use that label if it appeals to you. And if it doesn't, that's wonderful too. And you can start today. So let's begin with the 13 practical magic tips and spells that you can use in your everyday. So number one is really, really simple. It's simply stirring intention into your morning drink. So whether you drink tea or coffee or you just like water, you can use a spoon and you can literally stir your intention for the day. So again, use your intuition with this, whatever calls to you. For me personally, if I'm stirring clockwise, that is me welcoming something towards me. So if I'm manifesting, if I'm welcoming in, I'm going to have a peaceful day today. I am going to have an abundant day today. I am going to choose to really listen to my intuition today. Stir clockwise. And I love everything in threes. I guess that stereotypical witch of loving everything in threes, that is what I love. And so I will stir 3 times clockwise and welcome in the energy that I want to welcome for the day. If you want to release something, I would stir anti-clockwise again 3 times and really feel into your intention as you're doing it. If you're stirring clockwise and you're manifesting, think about how your day's going to look, the energy that you're welcoming in, how that energy is going to serve you. If you're releasing, again, lean into how that will look. If you're releasing the need to be right for the day and instead choosing peace, feel into how that will feel for you. If you are releasing an argument from the day before that you don't want to carry around with you into another day, allow yourself to feel that peace of it slipping away from you. And that can simply take you 10-20 seconds to do in the morning. And it can be part of your routine as well, because you'll probably be having a morning drink anyway. So as you're having your morning tea or whatever drink it is that you like to drink, ask yourself a simple question. How do I want to feel today? Not what you want to achieve or how busy you're going to be, but how do you want to feel? And lean into that, welcome that into your life. And then as you're drinking the tea or whatever drink you're drinking, allow it to absorb into you. You're literally taking that intention that you've just made into your body. You're making it part of you. You're drinking it all up so that it is. And if you want to make it a little bit more witchy, you could add different ingredients for their symbolism. So, for instance, if you wanted to sprinkle a little bit of cinnamon in it, that welcomes in abundance. Honey for sweetness or attracting things. Honey is obviously very sticky, so it's good at making things stick. You know, rosemary for protection, or mint for clarity or new starts. And again, these don't have to be things that you do, but if you have them to hand and you feel called to, real simple magic. So let's move on to number 2 of your simple spells and practical ritual. Bless your front door. So this takes 5 seconds to do. It's really simple. You don't need anything at all to do it. But before you leave your house, every time, just place your hand on your front door. Take a breath. And just say, may I leave this house protected today? Or may I walk with courage today? Or may I only carry what's mine? And the world can feel really, really noisy sometimes. And this is just a really lovely way of reminding yourself how you want to step into it before somebody else gets to influence your energy, your mood at all. You're protecting your house. You're protecting yourself. Anytime you leave, anytime you enter, you can simply use this magic. And you don't have to speak aloud. You can do it in your mind. Take 5 seconds to place your hand on the door and work with your house to bring your intentions to fruition. So number 3 is cleansing with fresh air. Now, we should all have access to fresh air. So again, another really simple way that doesn't involve using any complicated tools at all. So whenever my house feels heavy, or, say you've just had an argument, or something has happened, if there's a bereavement, or if there's something sad has happened within the family, or it's just a stressful day even, the first thing that I personally do, that I find really beneficial, is to open every window, to literally allow the element of air, the wind, to blow through the house and blow away any old, any stagnant, any negative energy, so that I can welcome in the fresh, the new energy, and I can reform my house with my intention. And if you feel like it needs an extra bit of cleanse, you may like to use some herbs, whether that's sage, or Palo Santo, or frankincense, or rosemary, any herb really that you feel called to use. For me personally, I don't tend to use sage on a regular basis for normal things, simply because sage is so potent and it tends to remove all of the energy rather than just the negative. So something like Palo Santo or frankincense or rosemary is really good to just remove the unwanted energy. Like right now, for instance, I am burning incense. I don't know if you can see that right now. But I've actually chosen a lemon, lime and grapefruit one because it's a great cleanser and uplifter and bringing of energy. So again, it's the incense stick itself isn't the magical tool. Oh, that's wonderful. It's beautiful. And it smells amazing. But it's the intention. It's your intention. It's what you put into it that makes it magic. So you can hold the herb and you can say, please help me, please work with me, or eliminating any stagnant, any old, any negative energy that's in my mind. And you can thank the herb, and then you can give the herb back to another herb as a thank you. You could, if you don't have any herbs to hand or you don't like burning herbs, then you could ring a bell. You could put on your favourite music. And sound really helps to eliminate and uplift any energy. But simply just opening the window you fog as well, and allowing the breeze to just gently go through your home, and setting the intention that as the breeze goes through your home, it clears out all of those energetic cobwebs that may have built up that just need releasing. And it's simple, it's free, and it feels so cleansing as well. So number 4 is just lighting a candle with purpose. So I am a lover of candle magic. My husband worries sometimes about it because I have been known to I have a fire or two that I may have had to call in because a spell has kind of gone a little bit wild, but I do love candle magic because it feels, to me, so potent. So it's something that I love, but you don't have to overcomplicate it. You don't need a perfect coloured candle or a beautifully written spell. Just decide what you want that flame to represent. Maybe you're about to sit down and do some work, so you light a candle for creativity and focus. Or maybe you've got a difficult conversation that you've got to have that day, so you light it, and as you do, you feel into the courage of the flame. Maybe you've had a rubbish day and you want to invite a little bit more peace into your home. But every time you look at that flame, it's a reminder of the energy that you're stepping into. And the candle isn't doing the work for you. It's reminding you to do the work, which is the same with every single one of these little practical magic tips that I'm sharing with you today. So, for instance, I have a candle lit here. I have a candle lit over there as well. And as I light them, right before recording this podcast, I set the intention that I'm going to connect with my spirit team, and I'm going to bring forward the information that most needs to be heard. I'm going to allow my inner light to shine through so that I can help as many people as I possibly can. So whatever your intention, light a candle and allow it to do the magic. So number 5 is turn your shower into a cleanse and nurture. This one I do with every single shower that I have. And it can be washing your hands as well. It doesn't have to be a full shower, like in between, if I'm doing quiet work, if I am creating spells or doing readings or any form of energetic work, in between, I would always wash my hands before I can then have a shower afterwards. So at the end of a long day, just jumping in the shower, thinking about, anything, what you're cooking for tea, thinking about the energy of the day that you've just had. Imagine the water not only cleansing you physically, but cleansing you energetically, spiritually as well. Any energy that you're holding on to that isn't yours, that doesn't serve you, allow it to wash away with the water. Allow it to go down the cuppa. And visualize that shower is where you're removing anything that isn't serving you, and it's taking it away. You thank the water. And if you want to add an even more cleansing element, you could take some Epsom salt and sprinkle a little bit in the bottom of the shower, and that helps as well. The salt really helps to cleanse. And if there's something particular from that day that's sitting with you, where something's playing on your mind because it's really bugged you or annoyed you in some way, no matter how people sweat, as you're in the shower, think about that thing. Imagine yourself releasing that energy surrounding whatever it is that surrounds you up. Allow the water to take it around so that it no longer bothers you after the shower. Number 6, become a kitchen witch. And again, another really simple, practical magic tip. And it's one of the oldest forms of witchcraft and spells and magic that there are. So as you're taking the ingredients from the earth, you are transforming them, you are alchemizing them into something that nourishes the people that you love, your family. And that is magical within itself, because you are literally being an alchemist in that moment. You are transforming something into something else, all with love in your heart. So the next time that you're chopping the vegetables or stirring the pan, think about what you're adding alongside the ingredients. As you add an ingredient into the pot, have the intention, I'm adding love to nourish my family along with the carrots. I'm adding healing to nourish. I'm adding comfort and joy and gratitude. And you don't need to announce it to everyone in the house. This is yours. Unless you want to, of course. It's not a secret. This is your way of bringing magic into your life and into your family's life. You can just hold that intention while you're cooking. And again, just as with the first tip that I gave you, if you want to welcome an energy in, stir clockwise. If you want to release something, stir anti-clockwise. And I don't know about you, but I really feel that food tastes different when it's made with love. I think that's part of why going to your grandparents' house, for instance, like I always remember loving dinners at my grandparents' house. And I think it's because, especially my nan, she absolutely adored feeding her family. She was a true feeder. You couldn't walk in her house without her saying, oh, do you want to go to tea? Oh, do you want a bacon sandwich? Oh, do you want this? Oh, do you want that? And she would almost be offended if you said no. You always felt as though you had to say yes, because it really, really pleased her, bless her, because she loved being able to do that for us. And I do think you can taste that in the food that you're eating, the love that's poured into it. It's your intention. So number 7 is carry a talisman. And a talisman can literally be anything at all. It could be, a lot of people use crystal talismans, but it could be a stick, it could be a stone, it could be something homemade. It could be absolutely anything at all. Something that someone's given you that's special, something that you have created with your intention. But before you leave the house, you can hold it for a moment and decide what you want it to remind you of, what energy it is that you want to welcome in. And then you can take it with you. And every time you see it or feel it throughout the day, of course, you want it to be quite small. You don't want to take something heavy and massive out the door with you. I can't imagine. But every time that you see it or you feel it, it brings you back to that energy of welcoming in. So, for instance, before this podcast, I've now got an obsession with elephants. And I believe the reason I have this obsession with elephants, it's only been in the last couple of months. I think it's because since my nan passed, I feel as though she's bringing through the energy of spirit elephants. And I feel it's because, obviously, elephants are matriarchal. And they stay within the herd and they look after their family. And they're wise and they're gentle. And I think that is part of the love that my nan's living behind. So I have been buying lots of crystal elephants recently. And before sitting down to record this podcast, I chose this little guy. Little elephant is, she is a little rose quartz elephant. And I held her in my hands. I thought about the love that I want to bring to the end as a podcast. The love that's between me and my nan and my mum and spirit. The fact that they help me to bring through the information that most needs to be heard at the moment. And I hold on to the elephant. And I think about the energy that I want to bring to this podcast. I want it to be uplifting and enlightening and shared with love. So that is the energy that this little guy holds. And every time I see it or hold it, I'm again infusing that energy. I'm giving that intention to the elephant, but I'm also taking it back because the intention I've already put in there. I also have with me all the time now, I was making little magical puppets with my daughter last week. And we were infusing it with the herbs, with the love that we wanted to infuse with it. And afterwards, as a surprise, she made a little forget-me-not. And forget-me-nots are very important to me. They were my nan's favourite flower. And, of course, the symbol of Alzheimer's as well, that she did have. So this, the fact that it was from my daughter, it was lovingly made by hand from her. And it was made to represent someone who is no longer with us, to really love with all my heart. This is really important to me. So this is pure love. And this is courage to be able to do anything. Because my daughter believes in them and she gave this to me. She let me know how proud she was of me. How courageous she thought I was. So now, every time I see this, I feel emotional in the best possible way. I feel a whole load of love. So this comes with me everywhere now. And your talisman can literally be anything at all. And you can infuse it with anything. Like you could sit, so say this puppet or this elephant, in herbs that you feel represent the energy that you want them to hold. I like to also infuse it with tarot, to make a tarot talisman, where I will choose tarot or oracle cards that call to me because they, to me, symbolise the energy that I want my talisman to hold. And I will sit my talisman on top of the cards overnight to charge them with that energy. So you truly can be as creative as you want to with your talisman, and then carry it with you and allow it to bring magic into your day. So number 8 is working with the moon without overthinking it. So I remember when I first started on my spiritual path, and I thought I had to have these huge rituals every single full moon and new moon, and I had to release on a full moon, and I had to set intentions on a new moon. And while certain moon cycles encourage us to lean into certain energies like release, like intention setting and manifestation, your gut feeling, your intuition is so much stronger than that. So let's say, for instance, it's a full moon, which is notorious for being very good for releasing a real powerful release that actually you're feeling really called to manifest. Go with that. The moon is speaking to you. So listen to her, listen to your intuition. And you don't have to have some big, elaborate ritual that you can create. You know, you're not missing out if you haven't got all the crystals and all the tools. The moon doesn't care. Just simply notice her. Look at her while you're sitting in your garden or you're keeping your bins out, and notice whether she's growing in size or she's shrinking in size. And write down some intentions or what you're ready to let go of. You don't have to do everything at all. Just notice how you're feeling energetically at particular times of the lunar cycle. As women, we are very connected to the lunar cycle. Our own feminine cycle is exactly the same as the lunar cycle, and that isn't a coincidence. So notice where you are in your cycle of different phases and how you personally are going to fall at that time of the month. And that can be really beneficial moving forwards. With me, for instance, I know that I feel energized and powerful around a full moon. And so I always tend to structure work things like launches around the time of a full moon because I know I'm going to have the energy there. Whereas on a new moon, I often tend to find that I'm more lethargic, but I go inwards a little bit here. So I won't plan any appointment around the moon because I know energetically I'm not going to be at my best. So, you know, some people that I've met are the complete opposite, are more in touch with the waxing cycles or the waning cycles. But once you really connect with your energetic cycle, in comparison to the lunar cycle, that is where the magic is. So number 9, create a simple sigil. And if you haven't worked with them before, they are symbols. It's just simply a symbol that represents your intention. So maybe you've got a big new thing coming, or you're launching something exciting, or you're calling in confidence. You can create a little symbol that means something to you. You can download it. You can ask the universe, ask your team to send you a sign. You just allow your hand to move on the page, not judging what it looks like. And then you can use your hands to rub over that symbol. You may like to repeat the symbol, putting over your heart space, for instance. And that can become your symbol for that time. You've given it that intention, whatever that intention is. And every time you see it, every time you sketch it out with your fingers or with a pen, you know what it means, and you're choosing it, not amplifying that energy within you. You can carry that symbol around with you. You don't have to hold on to it physically. You could simply, with your fingers, put your sigil over you. That's simple. That's yours. And it's very simple to use. So number 10 is to simply get outside. I know this sounds ridiculously simple, but when was the last time you went outside and just noticed what was around you? Not having headphones in or having your phone scrolling through it, not because you were rushing from Tesco's to your car, just simply being outside and feeling the sun on your face, or the wind on your face, or the rain on your face, listening to the birds, noticing which of the flowers you're breathing, looking at the trees, taking that deep breath in. And I think that for a lot of us, we've become very disconnected from the earth, from nature, and so we can forget that we are part of it. But our ancestors all understood the symptoms because they kept them. They knew when things were growing, when things were done with that, when to gather which herbs and when to rest. And we don't have to live like that anymore. We can get, fruits and vegetables and herbs all times of year, which is wonderful for us. But it does mean that sometimes we lose our intention and our connection with the earth because we can stop paying attention altogether because we don't need to know that information. So next time you go out for a walk, just simply outside, even if you're walking from your home to your car, for instance, or up the road, just get into a conversation with the world around you, because nature has such an incredible way of bringing us back home to ourselves. And you'll likely find that if there is something that you've been struggling with, a decision to make, or you need some creativity, simply being in nature can sometimes be the best thing that you can do. So number 11 is sweeping away that stagnant energy. And this one always makes me smile because it involves housework. So it is bringing intention and bringing witchcraft into the housework. And even as witches, unfortunately, we do still have to do the cleaning, which is very unfortunate. But instead of instead of seeing it as a chore, why not turn it into a little ritual? As you're sweeping or vacuuming, imagine that you're not just picking up the dust, but you're clearing away the energy that's built up in your house as well. Any stress and frustration, any sadness, any negative energy. Maybe it's one of those weeks where everyone seems a little bit grumpy. As you work towards the door, imagine that you are sweeping or vacuuming all of that heaviness out of the room around you. And maybe you've got a gorgeous witchy room that you can use, but I find my Henry Hoover. It's just as good, because again, we're going back to intention. With intention, my little Henry is calling up all of the energy that I don't want, along with all of the physical debris that I don't want. Getting rid of it. It's clearing the way so that new energy can go in its place. So number 12 is burning what you're ready to let go of. This is a lovely thing to do when something is weighing heavily on your mind. You can gather a little piece of paper, write down whatever you're ready to release, any feeling of self-doubt, limiting belief, guilt, resentment, anything at all. And then you can safely burn it. And as it turns to ash, just imagine yourself letting go too. Now, again, as with anything, as with intention, burning a piece of paper doesn't magically make all of your copies disappear. But there's something really, really powerful about giving your brain, the human, that physical act. It lets your human know, I'm ready to let go of this. And sometimes that's what you need. You're bringing your intention into that simple act and allowing the healing to release what no longer serves you. And number 13, last but by no means least, bless yourself with your words. And I wanted to finish this one because I think it's the most powerful spell that you can ever cast. Think about how many times you speak to yourself or about yourself. You might think or say, oh my God, I'm such an idiot. I'm so stupid. I always get that. I'm not good enough. I'll never be able to do that. And words really carry energy, especially when you're placing them on yourself, because you absolutely are putting that out there into the universe. The universe will listen to the spells that you are casting as you are saying these horrible things about yourself, probably things that you would never say about anyone else. And it may be something that you do it every single day. I know that I've been terrible for it, for criticising myself, and even doing it in a joking way, a really joking way. But these words have meaning, and we are placing these words onto ourselves, onto our name, onto our energy. So, in future, with intention, think about what you're saying, what you're telling the universe, what you're telling yourself. Changing it to I can handle this. I'm learning. I'm safe. I'm proud of myself. I'm exactly where I need to be. And you may not believe those words straight away when you say them, but the more that you repeat them to yourself, to the universe, the more that your nervous system begins to listen. The witch wound has a lot to answer for, especially with us women. It taught us to really doubt ourselves, to question ourselves, to shrink ourselves down. So perhaps one of the most rebellious acts of magic that you can perform is choosing to speak to and about yourself with kindness, because your words are powerful and you're powerful. So we need to be sure that you are using them wisely. So there we are. 13 really simple ways to bring a little more magic into your everyday life. Now, please don't finish this episode thinking that you need to do all 13 tomorrow, although it would be simple to do. They are all part of everyday life. But just perhaps choose one that really called out to you today. And let it become part of your life, rather than adding it as something else that you've got to do in your to-do list. Because that's what practical witchcraft is really about. Not about waiting for the perfect moon cycle. About choosing to move through your world with intention and finding those moments of connection with your ordinary days. Remembering that your height can be sacred and you can use it to help you in your magic. Your morning routine can be sacred. Your cooking can be sacred. Your walk in nature can be sacred. And your words most definitely are sacred. So today, I hope you've had a little reminder that you are blooming magical. And the magic has not gone anywhere. They've been waiting for you to come back to it. So this week, let's choose one of those little acts that we're going to perform and make it yours. Make it your little routine. And if you do, I would love to hear it. So pop me a message, Kylie Anna on Facebook, Kylie or richylou.net. Tag me on social media, send me a DM. Come and tell us over in the Witchy Lou community. I so love seeing different ways that you can weave magic into your everyday. And so come and inspire us. Come and share with us. I would love, love, love to hear it. So until next time, I'll speak to you soon. Bye.
Witchy Woo!